Well, hey y'all, I'm here to do a knife review, mini knife review, slash unboxing, slash part 2 of the Rough Rider Exploding Knife Saga. And what I'm talking about is earlier on my videos, you can go back and watch it if you want to, I had a Rough Rider sowbelly Stockman, and what happened there was the back spring popped out of the knife, hit me in the face. Didn't hurt me, but it was pretty shocking. Came out pretty violently. And that very same day, I contacted Smoky Mountain Knife Works, who happens to own Rough Rider knives, on Instagram. And 2 days later, I had a knife in my mailbox. Now, Smoky Mountain Knife Works is in Tennessee, and I'm out in far west Texas. And I think that's pretty good. I think that's some really good customer service. So I'm going to unbox the knife they sent me on video, but before I do, I'm going to show you what happened with my exploding Rough Rider knife. Look at it. It just exploded. No, I'm just kidding. What happened, just the back spring came out. You can see that in that other video I made. And so this knife couldn't be repaired. I couldn't do anything with it. So I took it out to the desert and I shot this knife 5 times with the 9mm, and you can see it held up pretty good. I mean, it's still in one piece after 5 direct hits with the 9mm, including one that went all the way through it and through the blade, and I think that's pretty cool. There's the actual spring that broke and came flying out when I shot it. But anyway, what we're here to discuss is the new knife that Smoky Mountain Knife Works sent me, and this is it. This is the Rough Rider. I believe the model's 080. This is a box they send it in. Kind of gives you some information there. Little thing about this knife will give you cancer, but only in California. Tells you that right there. And then some information on the knife model right there. So anyhow, that's that. And getting down to the actual knife, they give you some really fancy plastic here, which is all right. But this is it. This is the sowbelly Stockman, pretty much exactly like the one that broke, except for, and this was a good thing, in that video where I described that knife, I had pretty much right after I got it, not too long after, the scales that they sent, and these are really nice, but the scales on that one were really beautiful too, but they were kind of too light for my taste. I wanted them darker, so I soaked it in some coffee and threw a tea bag in there for extra measure, and it darkened them up pretty nice. Took a couple of hours, but these came exactly pretty much like I want them. I told them that in that message I sent to them on Instagram. I don't know, I kind of doubt, but if they went through and picked me out one that was dark, but I guess maybe I was just lucky. But they did send me out one that is perfectly colored and great. The thing is, this knife, the new one they sent me, is actually a little better put together than the one that I got warranted, and that's why I shot the knife. They told me I didn't have to send it back to them. They said, you can do whatever you want. So yeah, I just took it out and shot it. But anyhow, this knife, if you look, I'll give you a little tour around the knife, is perfectly put together. These transitions and seams are like smooth as a baby's butt. There is not any gap in this knife. I did cheat and took it out a little bit earlier to look at it, and held it up to the light. There was no light shining through. Put a little flashlight in there. I won't bore you with doing that on camera. Look how smooth that is. Look how good those transitions are. And we'll go to the other side, and the same kind of thing. They really did a good job. And you can see that bone, the jigging is really nice. They put these striations or lines in the bolsters, a single striation on each bolster. It kind of gives a little classy look. And then it's that sowbelly frame. And then as far as the centering goes, I mean, it's pretty well centered, but this is a Stockman, and any Stockman knife you get I mean, that's just by nature of a kind of an antique design, is when you try to cram all those knives in there in a small space and make them operate friendly together, you don't get dead nuts perfect centering, but you do pretty good. And they did a really good job. Still has the Chevrolet shield, Rough Rider shield, just like the other one. Now, here's the thing. I haven't done anything with this knife. Whenever you get a new, and I haven't found it to be, I know case knives you kind of have to do that, but when you get a new knife from Rough Rider, it has, for lack of a better term, some assembly goo or manufacturing goo, which is, I guess, some lubricants or byproducts or whatever they use when they manufacture the knives, and it gets in the pivots here. And some people get them and they go, oh man, this knife's junk because it has sluggish closing or it doesn't snap shut with authority the way they think it should. If you run a little warm water, you know, for like 30 seconds to a minute in your sink in the joint area here, and work each blade in and out individually, that'll clear right up. And then, you know, you dry it off, and then the knife will work like a champion. Anyway, this is the main blade, the clip point blade. Very traditional shape and design. They do a fantastic job. A lot of fingerprints on it. Haven't really done anything with it yet. I would say the pull and now, and that may be affected by some of the grease or anything, pull being the amount of effort that it takes to get the knife out of the frame over there, is, I would say, about a 5 or a 6. Maybe a 6, yeah, not quite a 7, about a 6 out of 10. You know, 10 being like really difficult to get out, and this is about a 6. It's not hard to get out, but when you open it, when you close it, it snaps shut with authority. It opens with authority, and really, what that means for you, I'll give you another example. That wasn't very good. There you go, that nice little click. What that means for you is a knife ain't going to open in your pocket, and it's not going to close in your pocket. It's not going to close. It's not going to open in your pocket, and when you're using the knife, it's not likely to close on you because of the pressure of these back springs. The main blade has its own spring, and then the sheep's foot blade and the spade blade, can't get my finger in there, the spade blade share a back spring, which is you know, pretty traditional, common thing on these knives. That's how they're put together. But the fit and finish of this knife, I got to show it again, is really impressive. The jigging is really impressive. Now on this side, it is a hair lighter. You can see some light spots here as opposed to this other side. They're not quite as light, but you get that on case knife or any knife, and I think it gives it some character, because no two of these are exactly alike, you know, but they do a really good job on everything. Now there's let me show you this. They also, because they're cool, Smoky Mountain Knife Works sent me this cool sticker. So I thought, I'm a fan of stickers. I got a bunch of their stickers, as a matter of fact. And anyway, Rough Rider knives are owned by Smoky Mountain Knife Works. That's why they are so good on their warranty. And they those guys are really cool. If you've never called or dealt with them, they are a really cool bunch of guys. Even the customer service people are just a kind of a down-home good group of people to deal with. And you know, but most of the guys, the guy that started the company and who owns it now, a lot of the guys that work there, they're all knife people, and they know what goes into making a good knife. They're knife nerds like us. They know what makes a quality knife. They know what we like, and so they do that. They give us that in this knife. Of course, it is made in China, and this poor guy, when I initially bought him, he was 11 or 12 bucks. I can't remember. About 12 bucks, let's say. And you know, but it was made in China, and a lot of you will say, and I used to feel the same way, that China, I ain't buying no China junk. I'm a patriot, and anything out of China is pure junk. Well, That's just not really true. That argument doesn't hold anymore. In fact, I shoot a Glock 19 that was made in Austria. I got a Browning high power that was made in Belgium. Half the products we use, or more than half, I would say, come from China and other countries. I'm not a big fan of the Chi-Com government or any of that, but it's hard to refute this knife. If you look at this knife sheerly as a knife, as what it is, what it does, and what it's for, I would say that this knife is about 98% as good as a case knife, with those other percentage points being given that a case knife is made in America by Americans. But as far as quality goes, this knife, they have their, I don't know, I've never heard what it is, but it's some kind of proprietary blend of stainless steel. I always, it's kind of like a mantra, I always talk about it, but heat treat is every bit as important as the blade. And the knives I have personally gotten from Rough Rider are heat treated correctly. And I would say that in my very unscientific test, this steel holds the edge about as good as a case knife True Sharp stainless steel does. I don't see a whole lot of difference. I know they polish the steel on these quite a bit better, and they give you these match strike pulls, which I think is pretty classy. Now, no case knives, or not many case knives, do that. So, based on sheer quality, and you look at a knife like that, you kind of develop affection for these knives. Now, some of y'all, like me, you want to try out patterns. Maybe there's some patterns you haven't tried, and you don't want to sink $80 to $200 or more on a pattern, and you're not sure you're going to like it. And so you can buy a Rough Rider because they make a ton. Those guys know what we like, what patterns are traditional and cool, including some stuff they do all on their own. And so if you want to try a pattern out, you can get it in this format and know that you're getting a good quality knife and a good representation of that pattern. And you can see if it's something you want to sink some more money into, if you even like the pattern, how it does cutting, how it does in your pocket. And if you say, man, I just, like this one, for example, I really love that sowbelly pattern. I love the way it cuts. I love the blade configuration. Well, you can go buy a sowbelly case knife. And they have them, starting at around, I guess, $60 or so, all the way up, depending on the coverage you get. Or you could just, buy you a nice case knife and use this for all the rough stuff. And that's the thing. I've talked about it before in another video. But when you buy one of these, and what I did, I bought it to be a beater knife. I bought it to use and kind of abuse and not worry about. And if something happened, it's covered under warranty, they'll fix it, or you can just buy another one. You don't care. But the thing with any good product, no matter what it is, if you get something that, and is inherently a good product, and this is inherently a good product, and you start using it, you start to develop an affection for it and a little bit of respect just because it's a good product. It don't matter what it costs. If you think a product is only good because it costs a lot, well, you're a fool, and you'll soon be parted from your money. Because, you should want to, and I'm not telling you what to do here, but I think that you should, try to get the best value for your money, and I think that's what Rough Rider offers. It offers value. You get a lot for a very little amount of money. I do not dismiss the patriot thing, and I do not dismiss supporting American companies. I'm all about it. But I also, I do believe in value, and you can't argue with the value or the utilitarian function and even the beauty, like what you get in this knife for, a small amount of money. So that's up to you. But, if you're a poor college student, you're a working man, you're whatever, and you don't got a lot of money, but you want something good, you want something that'll last, you want something that you can work with, and you want something that has a good warranty people stand behind. And, Case, they stand behind their stuff too. But, look, $12. And I'm serious. You make that decision yourself. But you are getting a knife that is, 95 to 98% as good as any case knife. and you're getting it for peanuts. You know, it's just kind of hard to argue with that. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. If you're interested in these knives, you can buy them from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. You can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them anywhere. The prices range, but you know, usually like this knife, you shouldn't. You know, it's about maybe 12 to 15 bucks is the rough range on it, and you know, so it's not a lot of money. If you're into traditional knives and you're willing to be a little more open-minded and give it a chance, try the knife out. Try it out. You know, I know a lot of us knife people are, because in the non-traditional realm, you got Civivi, you got you know, Kaiser, you got all these other brands that are made out of China. Wee knives. In fact, they got some Chinese knives called Wee knives, and they make these really elegant folders that are not cheap. Those things are $300-400, and people are buying them. You know, some of the real high-end ones, and yet you're still getting value, because a comparative knife made by an American maker, and that quality and that level would run you about $600 or so. You know, I'm not ready to pay, you know, $300-400 for a Chinese knife, not yet. But you know, I dang sure will pay $12 and get the quality that I'm getting. So anyway, that's my review on Smoky Mountain Knife Works customer service. That's my little mini review on Rough Riders, specifically the sowbelly Stockman, and that's my unboxing. You know, the last thing I'll say about that backspring blowing, I did a lot of research, and I found that could happen on any brand of knife. I have never had it happen in my life to any knife that I've ever owned, including Rough Riders. I have a Rough Rider I've used, and there's a video on here if you care to look it up. But I have owned that knife for 15 years, and I didn't beat the snot out of it, but I used it very heavily. In fact, it was one of the only knives I carried for like 2 or 3 years, and it's you know, I carried it with something else, but most of the time I carried it by itself, and I didn't even do it on purpose. It was just such a handy little knife. It was a Barlow, and yeah, I really can. I still really admire that knife, and yeah, and it was just I think at that time I paid $8 for it. So anyhow, that's my mini review, first time unboxing. Oh, and this little guy I was going to show you. With that old knife, I do some whittling. You know, this poor guy that lost his way. I did some whittling. It's not very good, but it is. I invite you. It is kind of relaxing to sit on your porch and whittle it a little bit. Try to peel the skin off an apple in one single piece with the pocket knife. You know, some of these things the old timers used to do that you know, that is really, I mean, they did it for a reason. It is really relaxing, and then there's some kind of zen philosophy in doing all that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's my video. I'm rambling on. I really appreciate you watching. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. I mean, I'm really trying to grow this channel. I definitely am not trying to be a superstar, but I'm a knife guy like y'all, and I am just I just really like talking about knives with knife people. I like you know, that's the style I try to make these videos in. If you and I are friends, and I think we kind of are, even though I've never met you. We're into the same hobby, and we like, you know, some of the same things, and it's just nice to sit around and talk about knives. And that's what I make these videos for, you know, people that love knives, guys or girls. So leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up if you like it, and I really appreciate you watching. And I'll tell you what, we'll catch you all down the road.